Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Tour Westeroscraft. And today we're going to be going to one of the more kind of popular places, I guess, which is Winterfell, as a lot of people obviously follow the Starks, as they're kind of used a lot kind of heavily. So we're going to go all the way to the Kingdom of the North. As you can see, it takes a little bit of time as well to actually get up there to here. So if I just kind of look behind me, I'll just be able to find it. There we go, there's Winterfell. And there it is in relation to everything. So you've got the wall all the way up to there, and then you've got Winterfell here, and the twins are down there, so it's actually pretty far north. I don't know if you guys can actually still see where it is, but it is just here. So it's a pretty kind of, you know, it's very important to the series, Winterfell. So we're going to just kind of jump over there and have a look at it, and really kind of look at the actual builds involved as well. So let's jump into the actual map itself. Okay, so here we are at the spawn, which is basically just outside the city gates. You know, you've got this kind of winter town where when it gets really gets to winter, everybody actually comes to the actual main town, which is just outside of it here, and you've got these kind of broken walls. The buildings in this are very simple for this actual small town, so it's not a very complex build, or at least these parts are. And I can hear some running water weirdly. That's very creepy. But they aren't very complex, but they're still quite a nice builds. They're not as good as the ones in King's Landing. Not as kind of complex, but they're still very, very nice. So there's a couple of ideas in here as well. You've got the well here, you've got this kind of centre part. Interesting balcony. It's a bit jutting out too much for my kind of liking, but still. Let's have a look at this one over here. So this is quite interesting, having these kind of flower boxes on the outside as well, and having this interesting roof design. But that's kind of like a little bit of the actual kind of winter town here. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to actually head inside the actual walls. So you can see the kind of style that they've gone for as well, and they've kind of really heavily gone with this kind of style, which is very square towers. But they've kind of added a lot of detail to them. So the first thing you do is when you get through the gates is you can have this big bridge here, which goes across this kind of moat that they've got. So they've actually doubled up on the walls in a way, and they've got two sets of walls, which is quite interesting. So if we just keep on wandering through, got another portcullis here, so it's pretty heavily kind of defended. And then when you come into here, you've got this kind of interesting bridge going across, and I really quite like that. I kind of like the actual way that it kind of curves across. I think that's really interesting. Let's just check out one of these buildings here. So I have no idea which this building is, but let's have quite a lot of kind of tables. I think this is probably going to be a kitchen or storage. Yeah, storage. And yeah, so kind of quite simple again, kind of interior compared to the kind of later stuff that's done on the servers. But this is quite good actually, the storage area. So maybe this is kind of a barracks or something like that. I'm not too sure. And let's check out this really big tower as well. And I quite like this style of the kind of the wooden kind of supports holding this up, and having this kind of area underneath. I really like that. It adds a bit more depth to the actual build as well. That's really, really cool. So let's have a look inside here. So this is the Great Keep. Okay, well that's a good place to start. So here we go. So we have the actual throne in here. So I'm just going to sit down on this, which is quite good. So there we go. Quite cool. And yeah, let's just keep on moving on. Let's have a look in here. So we could obviously explore the kind of top parts. I actually do quite like that building when it gets to the top wooden parts, actually, when it kind of goes in like that. That's quite interesting. What else have we got here? I don't know what this building is. We've got more of these kind of bridges going across. Another kind of building in here. Got kind of a fireplace, a nice seating area, a load of books and things like that. And a kind of similar type thing here with item frames on it. That's weird. And also kind of like a big kind of mess hall as well, which is absolutely cool. So let's keep on going across this way, I think. So you've also got this kind of style going across here. We've got some gates back here, and I think they just go... I go into a kind of another courtyard type place here. I'm wondering what these places are. Kennels, okay, so these are for the dogs. That's quite interesting. Actually got quite a large one here. We've also got this really cool tower design with this really pretty ace kind of walkway that goes around it. I think that's Really nice, actually. I like how it kind of wraps around the actual tower and goes up. But if we actually go to the top of this, we might as well have a look and see that there's nothing in there. But it might be inside the roof. No. So they might still be doing parts of the interior of this. So let's have a look at this kind of inside courtyard as well. And we've got a big hall in here, so I wonder what this is. And that is actually a pretty big building. So this is the Great Hall. So this looks really nice. Actually, this is really massive as well. I quite like this style, having the arches. I always like having those. So that's really nice. And also having this raised table as well with these kind of throne type seats as well. That's really cool. Definitely. So it's quite an interesting kind of build, this one. It's not as good as some of their later stuff, and I'm pretty sure they're actually kind of going back to a lot of their builds as well, because they know that they can do better. This entranceway is a bit annoying, but not too much you can do about that. But yeah, there's quite a lot to kind of see still. It's still quite nice. So if you guys kind of want to check this out, I'll again switch to the actual map now, just to kind of show you guys an overview of Winterfell. It's a lot smaller than King's Landing. King's Landing is absolutely huge. But we'll just switch over to that now. Okay, so here is the actual overview of Winterfell itself. And we've got a couple of weird glitchy errors on here from the Dynamap, but that doesn't really matter too much. So you can see the actual winter town here. Some quite simple houses. There's not too many in this build as well. It's a bit smaller than the kind of other builds. And you can also see this double kind of design that they've got across here going around the actual castle. Yeah, you've just got these massive towers, really. We actually did miss out here, which I'm guessing is the Godswood. So I might actually just quickly switch back into the map to have a look at the Godswood. Okay, so here we are in the actual Godswood, which is kind of at the kind of one of the northern kind of sides of the actual keep itself. And we've also got this kind of conservatory as well, which I want to look at quickly, because you don't really see too many of these. But this is quite interesting, isn't it? Definitely, it's different kind of design. A very different place, which is very nice. So I'm guessing this is kind of like a fountain type area. I'm not too keen on these kind of flower pots which are floating, I've got to be honest, but still quite an interesting idea. And also it looks like the moat gets a lot bigger over here. And I'm guessing somebody's used a brush with Wild Edit just to make a kind of circular bit, so they might be messing around with the water on that as well to actually add the frost. But that's going to have a look at the actual trees and things like that. Doesn't sound that interesting, but it is a lot better than you actually think it's going to be. So we'll just go through here. And of course everybody knows this. The kind of old gods, the kind of tree for that with the kind of face there, which is quite cool. And it's really nice that they've actually textured that in as well, and they've actually got the werewood face as well. And they got like redstone coins and things like that. So it's really interesting. It really adds something to it as well. It's kind of a bit different. So yeah, let's get back to the main map. Okay, so that's pretty much what the Godswood looks like as well. So if we just have a look around here, you know, you've got quite a lot of stuff and lots of towers, things like that. It's definitely a kind of interesting build. It's kind of a bit too... I think they could have gone with a bigger thing and actually done a lot more of the actual town itself, but it's still a really, really nice build. So if you guys want to check this out, make sure that you just kind of actually check out the server itself. I'll put a link in the description to get to their launcher. And if you like this video, make sure you give me a comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.